first gas station offering an E15 alternative to drivers of light-duty vehicles, model year 2001 and newer, opened its E15 pumps to consumers in Lawrence, Kansas in July 2012. I'm Bobby Likis with 20 facts about ethanol, brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association. Just like epidemics of the past, road rage is passed on after briefest contact. While the holiday spirit still fills you, think about this New Year's resolution. Cage road rage. Give fellow travelers some notice and signal before switching lanes. Don't tailgate. Driving 2 inches from someone's bumper doesn't hurry them along. Go easy on the horn. Drive in the right lane, pass in the left, and take only one parking space. When you're driving, think golden rule. The lessons we learned during holiday services are good all year long. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us. Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with another Car Clinic Minute. Today we're on an entomology field trip, observing uninvited guests infesting your car. Don't break out the raid just yet, because when I come back, I'll show you how to take this pest to the cleaners. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. The American race we all can win is independence from foreign oil, and the American ethanol industry's stepping up the pace. Scores of ethanol technology companies are already into the demonstration phase of production, proving that technologies which convert everything from corn stalks to grasses to garbage to algae are viable. I'm Bobby Likis with 20 facts about ethanol, brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association. It's everywhere. Junk in the trunk, trash on the dash, and litter literally everywhere in between. Looks like you've got a bad case of clutter bug. But the prognosis is good if you analyze and immunize. Analyze. Pretend you're selling your vehicle and take everything out. Carefully evaluate what you put back in and where you put it, cause even flashlights can be dangerous projectiles if stored on the dash. Then immunize. Exterminate clutter bugitis forever by sanitizing breeding grounds. That means resist leaving even one fast food bag in your car. Instead, give it a proper burial in a trash can and not on the street. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us. Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with another Car Clinic Minute. More may be the plaintive cry of turbocharged consumers, but it's also the voice of your vehicle's engine. When I come back, I'll tell you what the automotive beast wants more of. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. American ethanol producers are fully engaged in the race to the next generation. Since the ethanol molecule is identical across sourcing types, many existing ethanol biorefineries are exploring bolt-on technologies that will enable production of ethanol from both grain starch and cellulosic material at the same facility. I'm Bobby Likis with 20 facts about ethanol, brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association. Like consumers burn products and services and beg for more, so do vehicle engines burn gas and air and beg for more. And just like credit limits restrict buying power, so do limitations on number and size of cylinders reduce automotive power. Okay, so how do hungry engines get their power fix? Turbochargers. Here's how one works. Trapped exhaust air spins a turbine, which then turns an air pump, which compresses air. This squeezed air takes up less room, so more can be shoved into an engine's cylinders. When more air meets gas, kapow! More energy or horsepower is created. Thankfully, aftermarket turbochargers are readily available to feed the consumer beast. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us. Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with today's Car Clinic Minute. Breathe deeply, get in touch with your inner self, and tap into all that energy. Aha! You think I'm talking about yoga, but it's really about cars. When I come back, I'll rev you up. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. The American race we all can win is independence from foreign oil, and the American ethanol industry is stepping up the pace. Scores of ethanol technology companies are already into the demonstration phase of production, proving that technologies which convert everything from corn stalks to grasses to garbage to algae are viable. I'm Bobby Likis with 20 facts about ethanol, brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association. Top performance in humans and in cars depends on oxygen intake. But how do you know if your car's getting enough? That's the job of close pin-sized gadgets called oxygen sensors. When in tip-top shape, these monitors measure oxygen in the exhaust, then signal onboard computers to adjust fuel-air ratios in the engine for complete combustion. But worn sensors give faulty cues, resulting in poor performance, higher emissions, and lower gas mileage. So check out those sensors. Then you and your car can breathe easy. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us. Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with today's Car Clinic Minute. Achoo! Uh-oh, it's cold season again, and we aren't the only ones whose joints ache. When we come back, I'll tell you how to prevent pain in the body, automotive. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Americans are outspoken when it comes to choice, so why not at the pump? Opponents claim that drivers will be confused with choices like E15 and E85. This objection is confusing, as studies show that Americans do want a choice. Soon, blender pumps will empower consumers to tailor fueling options to include the ethanol level best suited to their needs. I'm Bobby Likis with 20 facts about ethanol, brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association. Just like human bodies, automotive systems are also challenged when the mercury drops. For example, your car has CV joints which connect transmission to wheels, like your hip joints attach torso to legs. People are born with the fluid that lubricates this connection, and cars come with it from the factory. But over time, both can lose it due to age or injury. CV joints are especially vulnerable in winter when their protective rubber boots are brittle and tear more easily, allowing precious lubricant to leak. To prevent the blues caused by broken joints, include CVs in your winter inspection. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us.
Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 3-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 1-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 30-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 10-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic, live via ABC Radio Satellite Services. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll-free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
And thank you, Marty White. Good morning. Have a great week. Well, I hope so. If you have a car question, then I'm your car man. I'm your car doctor. Just consider me your personal car consultant. Used, new, fuels, oils, you name it, I'm your guy. Jan, I almost forgot. I almost called her Tina. I'm going to stay in trouble if I don't get away from that. There's a joke about in the house. I'll tell you about it a little bit later as we go along between Tina. But Miss Jan is really sort of Tina on the side. Well, maybe not. That's for you to know, and I'll tell you a little later. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you by General Tire and the Ultimax RT43. The Ultimax RT43 is designed for a quiet, comfortable ride that includes the visual alignment indicators to identify when a vehicle is misaligned. Visit GeneralTire.com for details. Also, very proud of our Johnson Control brand. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you in part by Power Frame Grid Technology, engineered with confidence. Power Frame Grid Technology is designed to minimize corrosion that leads to battery failure. You can trust a battery with Power Frame Grid Technology for true strength start after start. You can learn more at powerframe.com. Your calls at 888-227-2546. That's 888 Car Clinic for Miss Jan. We'll take your calls when I come back.
Your car and your life have a lot of moving parts. And your car's battery is what keeps it all going. Here's something to keep in mind. While all batteries may look the same on the outside, it's what's inside that matters. So be sure to choose a battery with Power Frame technology inside. It's stronger, more durable, and keeps you going longer. That means you can count on a battery with Power Frame to be there start after start. Here's another reason to feel good about choosing a battery with Power Frame inside. It's manufactured using the latest sustainable processes. You're moving fast, and you don't want anything to slow you down, especially an unreliable battery. So the next time you need to replace your car's battery, make sure you choose one with Power Frame technology inside. Look for Power Frame on the outside, and know there's true strength on the inside.
Here's an email from a Car Clinic listener. David writes, "What's the amber light on my dash? It looks like a cork pointing at an angle to a picture on the side of the car. This light has been on and off for about a year now, and I think it's time I check it out." Well, David, no time like the present. The light indicates a detected failure that could allow gasoline fumes to evaporate into the air, costing you money in lost fuel and polluting the air. Most common failure that trips the light? A small evap leak, or in other words, loose fuel cap. Besides being tight, the cap must also be in good condition. Fuel caps don't last forever, and poor quality caps don't work well from the beginning. Stant makes a large line of fuel caps that will last a very long time and ensure proper sealing of the system. Stant fuel caps are the only aftermarket caps to include all the safety features of the original equipment cap. Visit Stant.com or ask your local parts store for a Stant gas cap by name.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Rosie Outfitters, I'm Tina. How can I help you?
I'd like to place an order.
Great. Which item?
The cotton roll neck sweater, large.
Okay. Periwinkle, Loden, or caramel?
The caramel, please.
The what?
I'd like it in caramel.
Oh, the caramel?
Yeah, that's what I said, Tina.
Actually, you said caramel when it's pronounced caramel.
Can't we just call it yellow?
No.
Everyone knows the best part of a Milky Way. They just don't know how to say it. After all, it's our caramel.
It's caramel.
Ugh, that makes a Milky Way great.
You start my morning, you stir in my soul, you warm my heart, make me feel whole. Your aroma calls me, starts my morning, happy morning. Your name is Folgers Mountain Grow, now you're here. Your aroma helps me wake and the day is mine to take. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
Okay, let's get started with today's Car Clinic broadcast. This is going on our 26th year. What a great crew we have. What a great audience you have been over the years, and our affiliates nationwide. I have to tell you that every Saturday after a full week in the shop, and that's right, some 50 or 60 hours a week, we operate for the past 45 years, and currently Bobby Likis Car Clinic Service Pre-Repair, which is has won awards for the past 6 years as Best Automotive Service, Best Reputation, and Best Oil Change. And I'm really proud of the crew on the service side. But I am especially proud to say that during the trenches, during the week, those 50 or 60 hours that we work, that Miss Jan, who is the lady that you talk to, that I so affectionately call Tina from time to time, she answers the phone and she will put you in the queue and I'll put you on the air at 888 Car Clinic. She actually leads on the service side of the office, and she keeps all of the guys, and you can imagine, ladies, those of you who are tuned in this morning, what a chore that can be in an automotive service shop. And you've got, anyway, she does a fantastic job, Jan. Thank you so much. I love you. You do a great job. She's been with us for 19 years. We have one station in Daytona Beach that's actually aired our inaugural program, was inaugural station, WNDB. Maybe a little later in the program, we'll hear from Terry Sabiston and WNDB, because there's a lot of activity going on in Daytona over this weekend and coming up, as you know, the first of every year. And Daytona International Speedway is America's first stadium, that's right, racing stadium. And I especially want to reach from Daytona to California now and give a shout out to Dino Corbin, General Manager, and a special hello to Jason Murray, Program Director at KPAY News Talk 1290 in Chico, California. In Chico, California, for those of you who are hearing Bobby Likis Car Clinic for the first time, hey, like us, you'll love us. Miss Jan will take your call at 888 Car Clinic. That's 888-227-2546. And one more piece of business before we start. I know that we have Jim from Mississippi and Mike, and then Jim from Detroit in the queue, but I'd like to at least take this opportunity and dedicate today's broadcast and this weekend to the loss of a local family, friends of mine, dear friends of the Bithos family, who lost Katina Bithos, born in Samos, Greece in 1938. And I will tell you what a fantastic lady she was, and she'll be laid to rest today. And I and all of her friends and her family reach out. Our hearts are with you and with the Bithos family as we speak today. Okay, let's get this show on the road. We're going to go first to Jim in Detroit. And then we're going to go to Jim in Mississippi, and then Mike, and then your calls. Now's the time to call in at 888-227-2546. The Car Clinic reporter from Detroit, Jim, and a good morning to you, sir.
Well, it should be a better sound quality for you, Bobby. I'm talking right on my Snowball Blue microphone, and I hope it gives better quality.
Hey, folks, this guy will do anything. He will do anything to step it up a notch, and I'll tell you that the quality is really good. What was your name again?
Herbert.
So, what else is up? I'm telling you, this week has been really wild in the automotive world, so let's hear from the Motor City what's going on.
All right, let's hear from the Motor City, but let's gather the young children around it for a brief moment, because Chevy debuts a life-size Lego Batmobile, which was open for view by the public viewing, which was 9 a.m. this morning. Until 10 o'clock tonight, people can go to our Detroit Auto Show, which is a fantastic experience. You want to know about firsthand what's new in the prototype, you want to know what's coming up in the new cars, that's the only place. If you're near Michigan, you should go to the Detroit Auto Show.
Yeah, the Cobo Hall, right?
You got it.
Yeah, you got it. It's unbelievable. So what is the latest? What's the newest? And any particular manufacturer stealing the thunder?
Well, in my book, they're all going equal with each other. Where the thunder was really stolen was by the number one car I picked, the Bolt. the Bolt has stolen the thunder from Tesla because their next affordable electric car won't be out for another year. So it's first come, first serve the customers, the way I look at it.
Well, GM behind closed doors. Jim, you and I have spoken about this several times. As long as 2 years ago, maybe even longer than that, General Motors decided that maybe Elon Musk and Tesla had a good idea, and they did not ignore it. And lo and behold, we had the Volt with a V, folks. That's like in Victory. Now, Jim's talking about the Bolt, like in Bobby, B. And that Bolt, as I understand, Jim, has 238 miles of range, and it's a total electric vehicle. So hats off to GM. What else did you bring us this morning, sir?
Well, besides hats off to GM, the Lincoln Town Cars are going all out to please the customer. And that's what's continuing to bring them better sales. I can't think of any other company where if you bought the car from them, that they send a replacement car to you and take your car in for a tune-up or whatever it may need.
Now you mentioned folks. Now you mentioned a word, a tune-up, which in our world of automotive service, there's no such thing as a tune-up. But that tune-up is now transformed, Jim, into an update. And this is something that, and folks, for everyone tuned in, you need to understand this. You know what to do when you buy a new computer. When you get home with a new computer, the first thing you do is plug it in, hook it up to the LAN, to your local area network or to the internet, and you update the file. That is typical. Well, that is the new tune-up for today's car. So you know what, Jim? And this just occurred to me today through our conversation. We are going to reinstate the word tune-up, but we've got to come up with something appropriate because it's not a tune-up, i.e. like points and plugs and condensers and all the things that folks think about a tune-up. It's an update.
Why don't we call it an upgrade like we do on our computer? It's really an upgrade.
Upgrade. Okay. So it's a tune-up upgrade. What else? What else did you bring us, sir?
Okay, let's take a look at some of the promises of the cars in the future. There's one car right now that you can buy, and the fact that you can upload it's only capable of the third step of autonomous driving, which means you don't put it on the highway unless you have control of that car. But if you bought it now and got it for a lower price in $221, you'll be able to upgrade it to highway driving just by having it in your driveway.
So it's going to be a wireless upgrade, as a lot of the Teslas.
Correct.
Oh, I got it. Well, that's coming. And in fact, I say coming, the automobiles of the future that are here today, make no mistake about it, those cars are directly connected and will be even more so with all the new car makes to the OEM. That's the car maker. So as you're driving down the road, you talk about Big Brother. The automobile makers are now going to be connected to the car that you buy so that when that check engine light comes on, you'll know, and the local dealer in your area. Even if you bought the car in New York or Detroit and you're traveling to Chico, California, which is our new affiliate there, KPAY, you'll actually get a check engine light. And if you drive, say, a Chevy or a Mercedes or a Ford or whatever brand, that check engine light will trigger an OnStar type, similar to OnStar connection to the OEM, and that will be able to reach you and direct you to a local dealer. Now, there's a little rub there between the OEMs, the new car dealers, and the independent aftermarket service. And all this means is the independent aftermarket service has to come up with, and they're doing this in our industry, a way to receive those same signals and be connected to the car that is connected to the OEM. What else did you bring us?
Okay, Bobby, the new future round the corner version of the Chrysler car, the doors swing up, out, and side and go right up to the top of the roof, which means that you could enter people into the car in the back seat and the front seat at the same time because it opens the door that wide. That's positive in that respect. But if I've got a car and a half garage, where is that door going to swing? With what I got stored in the garage, I can't use it.
Well, this too shall be solved. And you know, you and I know both the Lamborghinis and the hot rods, the exotic cars, all the doors swing up and straight up like a Lamborghini does. So I'm sure that, and the Tesla, the newest version, has the rear doors that open in a like fashion. The challenge with that big door like that is that in inclement weather, not only does the driver get wet, everybody gets wet. And that's all the time that we have for your report today, Jim.
All right, Bobby, we'll be back next week with more on our snowball microphone, which I think is better.
As well. Thank you, my friend. Always great to hear from Detroit. Well, there you have it, folks. He actually has picked up the quality of the mic. And, folks, I want to take this opportunity to thank our Cox business locally for our quality of the broadcast that we send to you, as well as Cumulus and our friend Angel in New York that gets the signal to you. Back with your calls coming up next. This Tire Maintenance Minute is brought to you by General Tire and the G-Max AS03, the ultra-high-performance, all-season tire that delivers precise response in dry and wet conditions. The G-Max AS03 features a V-shaped pattern with aqua-cleave groove elements that help channel water out of the tread for excellent resistance to hydroplaning. Your tire sidewall has numbers, but what do they mean? Take max cold inflation pressure, for example. This number isn't necessarily what you should inflate your tires to, but rather the maximum pressure the tire was designed to hold. It's the vehicle manufacturer that determines optimal tire inflation pressure to keep their vehicle performing at its best. In most cases, you can find the manufacturer's recommended pressure on a decal in the driver's door jamb, the glove box, or the fuel door. Proper inflation will result in longer tire life, increased tread mileage, and a safer ride. Drive to GeneralTire.com to learn more about the G-Max AS03, featuring patented interlocking 3D sipe technology. The tread blocks work together to improve handling and reduce heat for increased tread life. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Some say ethanol causes phase separation of gasoline and water in your tank, which can cause corrosion. But here's the fact. Zero ethanol, or all hydrocarbon gasoline, can suspend about 0.15 teaspoons of water before it separates. E10, gasoline with 10% ethanol, can suspend about 4 teaspoons. That's over 26 times more. And contrary to popular belief, it's difficult, if not nearly impossible, to absorb enough water from the atmosphere to induce phase separation. At 70 degrees Fahrenheit and 70% relative humidity, to saturate a gallon of all hydrocarbon gasoline would take several months, and much longer for an E10 blend. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association. Drive to ethanolrfa.org.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
The airlines like to have sales. Summer getaway sales, holiday sales, winter sales. Truth is, at any moment, some airline somewhere is on sale with low fares to great destinations. Travelocity knows exactly what's going on, who's on sale, to where, and when, at over 700 airlines worldwide. We even have this nifty feature that lets you look at a calendar so that you can see exactly the days the great fares are available. Travelocity.com. Go virtually anywhere. AOL keyword, travel.
Hun, guess my temperature.
It's 2 a.m. Go to sleep.
Come on, one guess.
Higher, 98.
Higher.
Higher, 99.
You're getting warmer. Wait, I'm getting warmer.
Cold symptoms keeping you from getting a good night's sleep? Get NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can sleep better to feel better medicine. Use as directed.
One more guess.
100?
Yes. Tell her what she's won, Bob.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Proud to have you join us today. And just remember, put it in your memory banks. There it goes again. I mean, everything's all computerized. Well, it's true. And it won't be, I wonder how long it's going to be before when we wake up in the morning, there's some magic device that goes bzz, and you already know everything that's going on in the daytime. I mean, I wouldn't mind having one of those electronic hats that you put on. Well, never mind. That's a bit too far out there. But just remember that from 10 till noon Eastern Time every Saturday morning right here on Bobby Likis Car Clinic, broadcasting from the center of the automotive universe. And also, you may go to watchbobbylive.com. That's watchbobbylive.com, anywhere in the world, and catch this program in video and audio. Let's go to Mississippi. Speaking of the world, Jim, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. I guess Mississippi is what capital of the world?
Redneck, I guess.
Hey, you said that, I didn't.
All right. Well, we got a lot of shade tree mechanics around here, Bobby. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I do. But I think that that's not relegated only to Mississippi. I think universally throughout the world, there are many individuals that would like and prefer to tinker with cars and fix their cars. But Jim, the cars that we have in our shop today just preclude the fact that if you don't have the equipment and the training, and if you're not an ASE, Automotive Service Excellence certified technician, you're not going to properly fix that car. But let's talk about your car. What can I do for you?
All right. Well, Bobby, first off, did you get through that cold snap we had last week?
I did. The best part about that was in my 45 years in the automotive service shop, my promise to me, and then working 25 years if you call this work, every Saturday on air, it is my goal to take off on Mondays. Well, for some reason, I just can't manage to do that. But this past Monday, I did take off, and lo and behold, it was the coldest Monday of the day. So I looked up. I was able to stay warm at home. What can I do for you?
All right. I got a 2001 Town and Country. Now, I can still put brakes on it. That's no problem.
Okay.
But as far as the rest of the thing, like you just said, unless you're a technician, you're lost.
That's correct.
All right. I've been, as you're going down the road, you hit a pothole. Not a deep pothole, just a little bump in the road.
Okay.
There's a bump under that left front tire. I don't know. In the past, you could jack one up, take the tire off the ground a little bit, put a flat bar there, and go up and down to check your bearing.
Yes.
To side,
yes.
check your idle arm, stuff like this. But there's a bump in there. I don't know if it's a strut or what. Now, I'm fixing to put brakes on this thing this morning. How do I find out what that bump is? I have replaced shocks, but a strut I'm not going to fool with. It's too dangerous.
Well, that's good. That's a good choice. You got to know when to hold them, when to fold them. Here are two parts that I know that are bad on your 01 Town and Country. Number one, the tie rod, the sway bar links are defective and needs to be replaced if you have not already replaced them. And if you already replaced them and they've got 50,000 miles, you need to replace them again. Sway bar link, and you'll see that sway bar link. You know what a sway bar is, of course.
Oh, yes.
Okay, the links that connect each end on the left, one on the right, are bad. That is a typical and very common problem on that vehicle. Now, that's one. Number two, the sway bar itself is mounted with two like Adair clamps. You know what an Adair clamp? An Adair clamp is got
a big groove that with a boat going through it to open and close it, right?
Well, no, an Adair clamp is like you would attach a conduit of electric to a wall. It's a metal shield with a bolt in it, and it holds something, like putting your finger around a coffee cup loop. It's a loop. So the sway bar bushings that are retained that hold the sway bar are made supposedly out of rubber. Over time, they become hardened. You cannot check them because when you jack the car up, the sway bar is under pressure. So I have replaced many sway bar bushings and eliminated the knocking noises in 01 Town and Countries. As you know, I had one, and I've worked on dozens, hundreds of them, and that's my two top favorite hits, and that would be the sway bar bushings, which you have to take the sway bar off, which is it's a little difficult to get to because it's above the rack and pinion, but it's accessible. And you have to have a rack to get to it. And then the sway bar ends are very easy to get to. I would recommend replacing all of those at one time, not guaranteeing that will take the noise away, but I guarantee you the car will be quieter and drive better than it did before. You got it?
Yeah, but right now, Bobby, it's generating heat on the lug nuts. If you're driving a long distance, the lug nuts, the rotor is getting warm.
Well, that's a different situation. That may be bearings, and you can check those once you get the wheels up in the air and spin the wheels by itself. Jim, thanks so much for calling.
I got it. I appreciate it a lot, Bobby.
I appreciate you, man. Okay, let's go to the next call, which is Mike. And then we have Carol and Greg, and your number and your calls at 888 Car Clinic. And also, we're going to dial up Cobo Hall. We're going to hear from Detroit a little more because there's some news going on there. Today's the day. I mean, this is the Cobo Hall North American International Auto Show going on as we speak. Let's go to Mike. Mike, thanks for holding. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you in the house.
Hey, Bobby, I always enjoy your show.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
I've got an 01 Honda Accord 4-cylinder, and I got about 179,000 miles on it. I've changed the automatic transmission fluid numerous times. Patch test is just as clean now as new fluid.
Okay.
So I don't have a problem there, but I've got a little overrun on the first to second shift. It just seems like the RPM comes up a little bit, and then the clutches grab. Anything adjustment-wise or fluid-wise that can change the fluid that might improve that shift a little bit?
Well, as you were speaking, in fact, I was in such a jovial mood. I was going to say the problem with those Hondas is you can't wear them out, and Mike, that's almost they're almost that bulletproof. Having said that, they in the 200,000 mile mark, yes, we have seen the transmissions that gave problems. No, there's no adjustment. You cannot change the interior of what's going on in the transmission. I think you're seeing a deterioration in a wear factor of some clutches. What you might be able to do is use a conditioner for the transmission. And what I would direct you to is you've heard me mention Berryman products. So if I were you, and I'm going to direct you to berrymanproducts.com, check them out online, and look through their product line for any of their additives, quote unquote, that address any fluid challenges or conditions with automatic transmissions. And I say this because one of their claims to fame, and this has been for the past 40 years, as I remember, 30 anyway, has been Chrysler actually accepted their formula openly. And so it's rare that you get an OEM, which is a car maker, to endorse or openly endorse the use of an aftermarket product. Although there are many aftermarket products that are branded as new products, but I won't go into that except to say that go to berrymanproducts.com, look for transmission additives, and you will see that it will help your car. I'm not guaranteeing it's going to fix the car, but that is the easiest, least expensive thing that you can do with the condition that you have. And I say not to change the fluid because it's already been changed, as you said, and it's already clean. So I think that's what I would do. Give it about probably 300 miles and time, really, to soften the seals and condition the clutches. And then do me a favor, if you would, and call me back and let me know how the Berryman product worked for you.
Okay, buddy. Listen, I'll pick that stuff up probably at O'Reilly's right down the street from you.
That sounds great. Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate your call. Have a great weekend.
You bet. Bye.
And now let's go to Carol in New York. Then we're going to be going to Detroit. Carol, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Good morning.
Oh, good morning, and thank you for taking the call.
You're welcome.
I called a few months ago because my catalytic converter bit the dust.
Okay.
And I called to see if I was endangering the vehicle, but you said I wasn't. So,
right.
Okay, my question is about the float. I think do they still make floats in gas tanks that indicate that?
Absolutely.
Okay. I was just wondering, with the advancement of all this technology, if they somehow changed it, but it's still the same type of thing?
Well, in theory, but it's not. The float is part of a module that includes the fuel pump, and there's a lot of. I could give you 15 minutes of dissertation. I'm not going to do that. But the answer is the theory is the same, just like the toilet tank. When you lift the tank off your toilet, there's a ball that floats up or a plastic cone, and when it reaches a level that's predetermined, it shuts the water off. Well, as this float goes up and down, it changes the voltage reading, which makes the gauge read more or less. So yes, in theory, it's the same.
Even though the vehicle is a 99?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I was having a slight problem, and I know I've read this decades ago that do not overfill your tank because it'll screw up the float.
2 clicks, it won't damage the float. That float doesn't care. It's in there anyway, and it sloshes around. 2 clicks means that you don't overfill the tank with liquid because there has to be some air in there for breathing vapors and what have you. That's all sealed today on the gas tanks. So my rule that I follow religiously is 2 clicks. I fill my car till the gas pump clicks off, and then I wait about 3 seconds. I pump the fuel again, and about 3 or 4 seconds more, it clicks off. I'm done, and I do that religiously. And that would be my instruction to you as well. You got it?
Yes, I do, and I appreciate that because I don't know if I screwed up my somehow the indicator, the gasoline indicator, because I thought I was close to empty, which my tank holds 15.2 gallons, and I thought it was going to take about 14. Well, it took 11.
Okay.
And then another time, I get about 350 miles out of a tank, and I was very surprised when it indicated that it was, more full than it was, and I took more. So I didn't know by overfilling the tank, because I always try to get it to the nearest, 25 cents.
Yeah,
or 50
I used to do that. Yeah, I'm with you. But just know this, Miss Carol, you can do nothing, nor can you possibly damage the float inside the tank. That there's nothing that you do. There's no maintenance. There are no precautions. There's nothing. That is a unit that is within the tank itself. It's in its own world. And literally, there's nothing that you can do, and there's no proactive. So if the gauge doesn't read correctly, more than likely it is the gauge that is worn because it's a 99 model automobile. So don't fret, don't worry, just monitor it. I do applaud you for monitoring, and if I had the time, I'd share with you how precise I checked my mileage. And I'd say regular game, and maybe I'll do that when I come back. We're going to go to Detroit now and hear from Fred Liguri, and then we have Greg from Arkansas. But Carol, thank you so much for your call, folks. After the break from Detroit, stay with us. Folks, we're testing an Intune i2 performance programmer from Diablo Sport, and we'll share feedback and results over the next few months. First is ease of installation. Directions were clear, and the setup was easy. The Intune i2 is preloaded with dyno and street-tested performance programs developed specifically for your car or truck, ensuring optimal power and drivability gains. From there, you can then customize a tune tailored to your own performance needs. What a great way to boost power without even popping the hood. Diablo Sport Intune i2 has a fantastic look and now features the latest generation ARM processor for a higher resolution screen and an exceptionally responsive touchpad. You can update your i2 software on virtually any computer. Windows, Mac, Linux, and update times are fast. Even the large updates take no more than 5 minutes. I'll report more to you about the Intune i2 in the coming weeks. In the meantime, check out the i2 for yourself at DiabloSport.com. That's DiabloSport.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Waking up can be a chore, but mornings knocking on my front door. Know just what I'll do. Put on a pot of Folgers brew. Mountain grown aroma hits the spot. Helps me give all that I've got. An opportunity to start out smiling and happy. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
I'm privileged to be involved with Capstone Adaptive Learning, formerly known as United Cerebral Palsy, for over 25 years. Since 1953, Capstone has provided quality care programs for persons with developmental disabilities like autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, and intellectual disabilities. Dr. Sherry White with her team are dedicated to Capstone's clients, and 100% of your contributions stay local to serve those in this community. Go to capstoneadaptivelearning.org to see the difference Capstone makes.
Technology moves at the speed of innovation, and today, that's lightning fast. So when you get your hands on the latest tech, don't forget to do the right thing with your old devices. Recycle them. The Consumer Technology Association and its members are making recycling your old tech device as easy as purchasing new ones. Just go to greenergadgets.org, type in your zip code, and you'll instantly find the responsible recycling location closest to your home. You'll also find lots of tips to simplify your recycling, like asking the store where you buy your new TV if they'll haul away your old one. Television sets, video game consoles, smartphones, tablets, they're all recyclable. Don't let them clog up your local landfill. Just visit greenergadgets.org. You're sharp enough to get the latest tech tools into your home. Now be responsible enough to get your old devices to the recycler. That's greenergadgets.org.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Great program today. Call with your car questions at 888. That's 888-227-2546. Miss Jan will take your call, put you in the queue, and I will put you on the air. But first, news from the North American International Auto Show, or for short, NAIAS. And where? In Detroit. Where else? All roads lead to Motown every January, and NAIAS 2016 featured 61 vehicles, a majority of which were worldwide debuts. With us on the hotline now is Fred Ligori, Chevrolet EV manager, to reveal the winner of the 2017 North America Car of the Year. Can't wait. Fred, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Hey, Bobby, thanks for having me on. I really enjoy being here.
Got to hear all about this. Tell our Car Clinic listeners and viewers about Chevrolet's car that was just named Car of the Year, and what does that award mean to the Chevrolet brand?
So the Chevrolet Bolt EV was just named North American Car of the Year here at the Detroit Auto Show yesterday. I'm very proud of that for the team. It's great validation for the engineering and design teams. This comes on the heels of us having won Motor Trend Car of the Year, Car and Driver 10, a spot on the Car and Driver 10 Best Cars list, as well as Green Car of the Year, Green Car Report's Best New Car to Buy. Just a ton of great accolades coming for the vehicle. All of it really humbling, makes us very proud. The North American Car of the Year award is actually given by 60 independent automotive journalists from across the United States and Canada who test drive and then vote on the best new car out there for the new calendar year, new model year.
We're talking with Fred Ligori about the Car of the Year. And Fred, the Bolt EV, that's the B-O-L-T, as in Bobby, Bolt EV, how does that differ from the Volt?
Sure. So the Bolt EV is a pure electric that builds on our electrification expertise that started with the Chevrolet Volt way back in 2010 when we put the first Volt on sale. The Volt is an extended range electric, meaning that it's got a smaller battery pack that stores some energy for you to travel tailpipe emissions free on electric power, and then after that's been depleted, kicks over to a range-extending gasoline engine that combusts gasoline to generate extra electricity on the fly. In the case of the Bolt EV, we're a pure electric. Those two vehicles are both part of the Chevy electric family that is also made up of a third member, the Chevy Malibu Hybrid, a vehicle that just went on sale last year. Really proud to have kind of a wide, robust lineup of electrified vehicles in the Chevy lineup with the Bolt EV, the pure electric, in the mix.
Well, you talk about the Bolt EV and it being pure electric. How far can people go on a charge? And the charging stations, I know that there's a lot of new activity in that arena. So share with us where we are in the market and how far someone could go when they buy the Bolt EV and the infrastructure to support that vehicle.
So this was a part of why the North American Car of the Year group named the Bolt EV the Car of the Year, is the fact that the Bolt EV is capable of traveling 238 miles on a single charge. That's EPA estimated combined number. It's really kind of unprecedented at the cost that we're offering, price that we're offering it for, which is $37,495. Again, that's $37,495. That's inclusive of destination, but doesn't include any benefits from federal or state tax incentives. So once you factor those in, you're potentially talking, depending on your individual tax situation, about a vehicle that starts less than $30,000 and can go 238 miles on a charge. Previously, if you wanted to buy an electric vehicle and spend that kind of money, you'd be looking at a vehicle that went half or less of that distance. And if you wanted a vehicle that could go the kind of distance the Bolt EV can go, then you'd be talking 2 to 3 times as much money. So really kind of a game-changing vehicle for the segment. But more than that, Bobby, it's not only a great electric vehicle, it's just a great vehicle, period. It handles very nicely. Electric vehicles, as you probably know, instantaneous torque width. We've got 200 horsepower, 266 pound-feet of torque. We'll do a 0 to 60 sprint in 6.5 seconds. It's just a whole lot of fun to drive. You asked about the charging network. We are capable as a standard of doing level 1 or level 2 charging. Level 2's the public chargers you're most likely to see probably around you, and what a customer would install in their home, like a 240-volt station. Think of the kind of power required to run your home dryer, right? Same kind of thing. You get a special charging unit, install it in your garage. A full recharge can recharge the Bolt EV in a little over 9 hours. The level 1 cord is kind of like plugging in your cell phone or tablet. It's 110 volt. Portable cord that goes in the back of the car, so if you make the long drive to Grandma's house and get there and she doesn't have a charger, you'd use this to charge up. And if you do that, you'd get 4 miles of range for every hour that it's plugged in. And then if you opt for the optional DC fast charge system, that's 480 volt, that's like commercial grade power, right? So these are the larger chargers that are starting to come online all across the country, and in fact have more than doubled. The number has more than doubled in the last few months. You are talking a range of 90 miles in 30 minutes.
Well, you know what, Fred, what amazes me is that where you've come in the last 2 or 3 years, especially with GM, when they entered that market or re-entered that market. And I have to say that with the 3 different segments that you've covered, and if you would, before I let you go, cover those 3 segments again. We have the Volt, we have the Bolt EV, and then we have the Malibu Hybrid. And again, the difference between those 3 just quickly.
Sure. So the Bolt EV is pure electric, capable of 238 miles on a single charge. The Chevrolet Volt is an extended range electric that'll both allow you the benefits of driving electric and the additional capability of continuing on under gas operation, as well as the Chevrolet Malibu Hybrid, which takes our award-winning Chevrolet Malibu midsize sedan and electrifies the powertrain to help generate some really great fuel economy numbers while not being required to plug in.
There you have it, folks. The car of the year, the Chevrolet Bolt EV. One final question, Fred. Where can our listeners and viewers for Car Clinic here go to find more information?
You can go to Chevrolet.com/BoltEV to learn more about the Bolt EV. And if you want, we launched a new resource for those interested in learning more about what it is to drive electric, and that can be found at ChevyEVLife.com. Again, that URL is ChevyEVLife.com. ChevyEVLife.com. Fred Ligori, General Motors, congratulations. I'll let you get back to the floor. Thank you so much for your time today and for being a guest on Bobby Likis Car Clinic, Fred. Thanks for having me on. Thanks, Bobby.
That's really neat. And also, if you would, Fabio, after today's program, let's clip out Fred's call and put it online. And folks, you can go to watchbobbylive.com anytime. So if you missed some of the facts, because he really knew what was going on there, but it's hard to remember all of the different models and makes and the different mileages. But 238 miles, I heard that 238 miles that Fred shared with us, that the new Bolt, B as in Bobby, B-O-L-T, can go on its full battery charge. So that's, and then also 90 miles with using the 480 volt charger after a 30-minute charge. So as you can see, the technology is progressing, which means the range anxiety that we all had, including yours truly, about running out of a battery is slowly going away, and maybe not so slowly. That's the way technology moves, at the speed of light, it appears. Okay, we're going to take Greg's call. Miss Jen will take your call at 888-227-2546. Greg, thanks for holding. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I have a Nissan that I'm having trouble with that I hope you can help me out with.
I'll do my best.
It's a 84, and it will start and run for 30 seconds. The fuel pressure regulator, or not the regulator, the relay clicks, and then it dies.
Well, how do you hear that relay clicking? What brings that into? For me, that's for someone to tell me that, unless they're a technician and have been had their head really under the dash. How do you know that's the fuel pump relay that is clicking while the engine is running and then it dies?
Well, the fuel pump relay is mounted in the cabin.
Okay.
By the rear wheel, which it's just a 2-seater, so it's just right there behind me. And I've taken the inside off and actually found the relay, and I can feel it click in my hand.
I was going to give you a job if you had a magic, answer.
I'm not that good.
Well, let me tell you, it would be. I've often wondered if I could ever get so smart or educated or have the experience to be able to ride down a car and say, "Oh, I know what's wrong with the car." Now, I'll tell you, Greg. All joking aside, it's pretty easy if it's a wheel bearing or an axle bearing or what have you. But cars are so sophisticated, and even your '84 model. Here's what I believe in my heart of hearts: the reason, well, not your reason, one of the main reasons a relay would disengage would be a voltage overload. So for me, the first thing that I would check, especially an '84 Nissan, I mean, this is a no-brainer, would be the current draw of the fuel pump. And if you've got a fuel pump, how long has it been since this '84 Nissan has had its fuel pump replaced?
I replaced it last year, probably August.
Okay. Then I would check the current draw on the fuel pump. And, well, there's something a little easy as a current draw. I would also check fuel pressure, because you mentioned pressure regulator as you were, getting into your description. But if the fuel pressure regulator happened to be overboard, or, well, if it were under, then you'd have no pressure and the car wouldn't run. If it were over, the car would run richer, which might or might not show up. It would in gas mileage loss. But if the fuel pressure regulator was forcing the pump to draw a lot of current and now here's the bottom line I'm saying: you need to run a fuel pressure test on that vehicle to make sure that it is running and operating within the specs. And then you'll know that the fuel pump is not being pushed hard to work. Does that make sense?
Okay, that makes sense. I have replaced the pressure regulator. I got it from Nissan.
Right.
I have replaced that.
Okay.
And the pressure, I believe, is running about, if I remember right, it's been a while since I checked it, 28 pounds.
Okay, then you're on board. One final question: does the fuel relay that you are touching, does it feel hot? And of course, it's pretty well shielded. Okay, I got a better question. Since you know how to do these things, if I were you, or if we were together here and said what we're going to do this afternoon, I would pull the fuel relay out, and I would carefully pry the little tabs off, and I would look at the contacts on the relay.
Mm-hmm.
And if those relay contacts are oxidized and burned, now they're not going to be beautiful. I mean, by no stretch are they going to be like brand new. But they also aren't going to be arced like a welder would be. You know the difference.
Right.
So, like a set of points in condenser in an older automobile, I would suggest that you look at the points in the relay, and because you're the only one in this experiment or ongoing diagnostics, you might leave the cover off the relay. If you're assured it's going to fail, within 30, you say it cranks up in about 30 seconds, it dies. Yeah. And then see if what you're hearing is that relay disengaging, because the only reason the relay would disengage is from an overcurrent or from a loss of ground or a loss of power. And you should be able to test with a test light. We don't use them anymore. We use digital test lights. But you should be able to test if you still are getting ground, because you can apply a ground. And you should also be able to test if you're maintaining voltage to the relay. And if you've got voltage from the computer and the ground to the relay, and the relay opens up, you got a bad relay. That make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions?
Well, not that I can think of right now.
Okay. Well, okay, my friend. You go have fun and take care, and then call me back later on next week, and let's talk about your '84 Nissan 300ZX. They were great cars. I drove in '90. I drove 6 different turbocharged when they came out with the twin turbo. I loved every one of them. The only thing I didn't care about the twin turbo, it was too quiet. I mean, that was just typical of what the Asian car makers made. They should have made louder exhaust on that car so that you could have the noise to go with all that power. Hey, Greg, thanks for calling. Best of luck to you, man.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir. 888-227-2546 gas prices. National average $2.38. Up or down from last week? In 9 of 10 regions, gas prices are higher than they were same time last week. But in all 10 regions across the nation, they're higher than same time last year. $2.38 a gallon, with an average and the highest being $2.68 on the West Coast. Ken, thank you for calling. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. What can I do for you this morning?
I'm good. I just called to find out if that Seafoam gas additive was any good.
You know, I've never used Seafoam, but I've heard about Seafoam for as long as I've been in the automotive business, and I've yet to hear any negative claims or bad or about Seafoam. So I really can't say from personal experience because I've not used the product, but I have to say the reputation, and we all earn our reputation, like my crew at Car Clinic Service Pre-Repair located in Pensacola. We earned our Best of the Bay for 6 years because we've got the best team. So I'm not comparing our team to Seafoam. I am comparing the analogy that because of the good reputation, I would have to say it's a good product. And that's the best I can, that's the best I can do. I just want you to understand, Ken, there are many pour and praise on the market. And folks, a product that is a pour and pray, as my good friend Mr. Rawson, who's retired now, used to tell me, a pour and pray is where a customer buys a product off the shelf and pours it in his tank and prays that it fixes the problem. But there are also a lot of good additives out there, and there's only one great American car show, and that's Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Likis, thanks for tuning in. You'll love us.
This is Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is a copyrighted presentation of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated and may not be reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
HEST, or High Energy Solvent Technology, is what differentiates Berryman products from other additives, providing a more complete combination of available chemical technologies. But don't take our word for it. Here's another testimonial. Justin's 99 Ford Ranger was running rough with misfire codes at cold starts. After just one can of Berryman B12 Chem Tool, it took only 10 to 20 miles before the problem went away completely. Learn more about Berryman products and their HEST technology at berrymanproducts.com.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
If you're familiar with the Kulseford section of the newspaper, you probably understand this message quite well. You see, in the Kulseford section, everything gets abbreviated. Consonants, vowels, prepositional phrases, the very building blocks of our language are thrown right out the window. And that makes it difficult when you're trying to sell your car. You've got a limited amount of space to work with, and by the time you abbreviate the description of your car down to a couple of fragmented sentences, it sounds less like a car and more like a Bluck sedan with sniffed like new condition lemals. No wonder more people are selling their cars through eBay Motors. They can post unlimited text and photo descriptions, and with a nationwide marketplace, they're likely to sell it for more. Plus, both parties can be covered by eBay's Vehicle Protection Program. Buyers are happy, sellers are happy, and no one's abbreviating. eBay Motors, a better way to sell your car.
Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 3-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 1-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 30-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Count down to 10-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll-free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
And thank you, Marty White. A special good morning to those of you who have just tuned in to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Just remember, every Saturday morning from 10 till noon Eastern Time, we come to you 2 hours. We're not cleared in every state, nor every city for both hours. So we are available at Watch Bobby Live continuously for the 10 till noon Eastern Time every Saturday morning. And then we also will catch and copy some of the callers' questions so that we can post them on our YouTube, all the social media. I'll get into that a little bit later on. And speaking of social, you can sign up now to be an O Rewards member today and earn a point for every dollar you spend at O'Reilly Auto Parts, and you receive rewards twice as fast and on the go when you provide your email address, which is the way we live today. O Rewards members get $5 back for every $150 spent. It's fast, it's easy, and it's free, and only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. See your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store for details, or go to orewards.com. That's orewards.com. Meanwhile, Jan will take your call at 888-227-2546, because when we come back, we're going to hear from Daytona and see what's going on from Terry Savaston from WNDB 1150, and your calls. Like us, you'll love us.
O'Reilly. Now through January 24th, you could win one of more than 14,000 prizes in the O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card giveaway powered by Valvoline. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts, pick up a game card, follow the instructions to see if you're one of 500 lucky gift card winners each day. No purchase necessary. See O'ReillySweeps.com for official rules and details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You wouldn't wear a summer shirt in the middle of winter, right? So why outfit your vehicle with tires that aren't designed for winter weather? General Tire offers a complete line of winter tires like the Ultimax Arctic with a multi-angle sight system that maximizes snow, ice, and wet traction. The Grabber Arctic and Grabber Arctic LT feature General Tire's innovative Duragen technology that promotes confident stability, even wear, excellent braking, and responsive handling. For more, drive to GeneralTire.com. That's GeneralTire.com. What can open and close hundreds of times a day on your vehicle? Your vehicle's thermostat, which performs two critical jobs: accelerates engine warm-up and regulates engine operating temperature. With so much at stake, like engine wear, fuel efficiency, emissions, and cold weather drivability, choose the thermostat professional installers choose. Stant. Stant's Superstat is premium grade and features a heavier gauge stainless steel housing and larger heat motor for optimal temperature control. For more Superstat advantages, visit stant.com. That's stant.com. Your car and your life have a lot of moving parts, and your car battery is what keeps it all going. While all batteries may look the same on the outside, it's what's inside that matters. Choose a battery with PowerFrame grid technology inside. It's engineered with confidence to keep you going longer. That means you can trust your battery with PowerFrame to be there start after start. Visit Advance Auto Parts or CarQuest for a battery with PowerFrame grid technology, or learn more at PowerFrame.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Another lending success story from LendingTree.com.
Car dealers like playing games. They play percentage points, they play markups, but I don't like playing with my money. So I got my auto loan through LendingTree.com. I filled out one simple form, a marketplace of banks and lenders competed over it, and I got 4 offers back within hours. After all, the car buying game is a lot easier to win when you're holding all the cards.
LendingTree.com.
When banks compete, you win. For additional information and state license disclosures, please visit our website located at lendingtree.com.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a face. And Regency Hospice delivers more faces to you and your loved one when life matters most. Faces of nurses, nursing assistants, social workers, and chaplains. Regency's skilled, compassionate professionals deliver comfort and individualized care. When that time of life comes to you, Regency Hospice will be there for you. Go to regencyhospice.com for more, including Hospice for Heroes Veterans Recognition Program.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome to this hour of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. I want to welcome, especially for those of you who live in Chico, California, a new Car Clinic affiliate, KPAY 1290 AM. And a special shout out to Dino Corbin, the general manager, and a special hello to Jason Murray, the program director. I'm proud to be on KPAY Air in Chico. And folks, in that area, I'm ready to help you with your ride. I'm your personal car consultant. And anytime you have a question with regard to oils or tires or fuels or new cars or classic cars, I'm your car guy. So those of you in Chico, California, a special welcome. Glad to be with you. Now let's shift gears and drive from California. We'll drive, of course, on the airways all the way to Daytona Beach and welcome Terry Sabiston. And folks, just as an FYI, some 26 years ago, as of this year, we rolled out Bobby Likis Car Clinic Network, and our inaugural station, one of our 4 stations, was WNDB 1150 AM in Daytona Beach. And now I'm most proud to say that we are simulcasting not only on WNDB 1150 AM, but also on sister station 93.5 right there in Daytona Beach, Ormond Beach. But let's go to the track, the Daytona International Speedway, and hear from Terry Sabiston. Terry, welcome back. It's always great to have you live and in the house here.
Well, I'm only live and in the house with Bobby Likis when I'm live at Daytona International Speedway, and I am right now. So I'm live here at Daytona. It's a little quiet right now on the track, except for the sound of the jet dryers. We had some rain overnight. The sun hasn't gotten up over the edge of turn 2. So until the sun hits that and the jet dryers get to work, we're waiting for the ARCA Racing presented by Menards, Lucas Oil, Complete Engine Treatment 200, driven by General Tire practice to go on here shortly. But it's been an exciting first day. Was yesterday. They'll be back on track today. And we got about 40 cars here and about 60 drivers.
I didn't know it rained in Daytona Beach.
Just some rain overnight. It's enough to where I'm literally standing right by pit wall here on pit road, and the top of the wall just has maybe about 1/8 of an inch of water on top of the wall. So it wasn't a heavy rain, but the temperature's in the 70s, so it hadn't really gotten up hot enough to evaporate yet unless the sun hits it. So we're not a heavy shower, just enough to get things damp. And I hear cars up back in the garage, so anytime now we'll be opening the track up.
So, Terry, when the track opens after it's dried out, and of course the jet motors are going around drying the track out, will the cars, are there rain tires that General Tire, are there rain tires as well as racing slicks, or how does that work? You know, I think we may have, hello, you there? I think we've lost him. So, Terry, if you can hear me, call us back. Yeah, there he goes. He's calling right back. So a lot of rain and maybe a little glitch or two. So let's move on, and we'll talk to Gary, who has an 05 GMC Sierra, and then we'll hear back from Terry, maybe a cell phone there in the racetrack. But so we'll go right back to Terry. In the meantime, Gary, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. I understand you've got an 05 Sierra. What's your problem, sir?
Yes, I got an 05 Sierra pickup.
Okay.
And in our area, in this part of Florida, we're having more and more access to ethanol-free fuel. And I was wondering, with this 5.3 V8, is there any harm to that engine or engine parts if I use that ethanol-free fuel?
Well, no, but why would you do that? It costs more, and it's dirtier. I mean, ethanol contains oxygen, and it's used as an oxygenant to clean up the air that you and I breathe. But there are some older engines, certainly not yours, that it's not been approved for. But basically, all cars can run E10. Are you telling me you can't find E10 ethanol fuel?
Oh no, it's everywhere.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood.
I just wanted to try it and do a comparison on mileage.
Oh, sure. By all means, go ahead. You will not hurt anything. Your car will recognize. Let me back up your car. Your ECM, your electronic control module or power control module for your engine, using the oxygen sensors, will determine the amount of oxygen coming out of the exhaust and adjust the air-fuel ratio. So your car will go through some changes for the first few tanks or so, or the first few 100 miles when you change from one fuel to another. But it's okay. You can run E0, you can run E10, you can run E15, and quite candidly, Gary, you can run 30% ethanol in that same vehicle before the check engine light will be triggered by going beyond its adjustable means. In fact, there's a study that's just come out from Glacial Lakes Energy, and I could pass that on to you and any listeners that want to hear that. But the answer to your question, the short answer, by all means, try them and measure not miles per gallon, measure dollars per mile.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Comparison for
yeah,
sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Any other questions?
Because it's running around 279, 289 for the ethanol free in this area, which is, it's perfect for my outboard.
Right.
But I thought I'd try it in the truck and see how
Sure.
it does.
Why not? I would certainly, and I would make sure that you ran the fuel tank down to its baseline, an eighth of a tank, and then maybe put in 10 gallons of the other, or 20. I guess one full tank, and run the proper way of checking MPG. Hey Gary, thanks for your call, and let me know the outcome after you've gotten some facts and figures. Okay.
Will do. I track my mileage every tank full, so I should have some good data.
Thank you, my friend. Okay, let's go back to Daytona Beach. Terry Saviston, all that noise and all that engine, we lost you, man, but welcome back. Glad to have you back in the house.
Thanks, Bobby. Yeah, exciting day here. I'm actually on pit road looking at the largest motorsports stadium, and you cannot look at it in one view. You've got to turn your head. It's amazing sitting here on pit road looking up at this. Just the atmosphere with nobody here is exciting. It's amazing to be here, and there's not a thing going on the track, but just the energy level, you can feel it inside the World Center of Racing here, just waiting in anticipation of these. Think about this, 40 cars. There's experienced drivers in here like Bobby Gerhardt. There's young drivers. This is their first time out driving on Daytona International Speedway. And you can be an interested driver who wants to get some track time can actually pay to come down here and test during the ARCA series. They pay. Several of these cars will have 4 and 5 drivers, and they're paying, and that's how they get these teams here where they can afford to. Most of these guys with these teams are weekend warriors, Bobby. They've got a job during the week.
I did not know that, and so explain to our folks. And also, I had a question. I lost you initially. I know that that General Tire is the title sponsor there, and it provides the tires on the track. I know that that's all about, number one, experimenting with formulas of rubber and different tread designs, and the assets that we learn both from safety and from wear and traction all migrate to the street and the street tires that we buy from General Tire. But is there a wet tire and a dry tire on NASCAR? I know there is on Formula One.
On NASCAR, there is only on road courses. They will not do it on a flat track. There's just too much, with the banking and speeds. I don't think you'll ever see a rain tire on a I say a flat track, but a non-road course. But they have had them, the Xfinity Series is run on the rain on the road course, and it's happened with NASCAR, I think, too. And ARCA, I don't believe, has a road course type race that they would run in the rain for. Just too much expense. This is part of what General Tire, I truly believe, is with the change, is to also cut costs. And they've done a lot of things for these teams to help cut costs. You can get an Ilmore 396 motor, specially built for them. That they're out there now, that Ilmore's contracted with ARCA to set up. The General Tire, I think that switch was also economics for these teams. As I said, a lot of these teams, they got jobs during the week. They're weekend warriors. The driver might, most of these drivers probably want to be bigger drivers, but you've got to pay for that somehow. And so you've got to be making some money some way to get the opportunity to get here to the ARCA Series. And it's changed. We're working at carbon fiber bodies now. They're making new improvements in safety. It's come a long way.
Well, especially the carbon fiber bodies, that's just unbelievable. So help us to understand that this weekend at Daytona, at the Daytona International Speedway, is all about testing and getting this time in the seat, right?
Yep, it's about getting a lot of these kids, and I say kids, they're young men, in their 20s, 18, 19, 20. I think we've had some a little younger than that before. But they get out here and get some track time, and then they got to come down here and get a team together by the time the 18th of February to qualify and get into the ARCA race. As I said, we've got over 50 cars and over 60 drivers here. There's only going to be 40 cars in that race. Now, some of these teams got 2 and 3 cars, and they know that, like Bobby Gerhardt always brings several cars down. And also, I understand they're testing out some new body stuff tomorrow, so everybody's got another car in the hauler they're going to break out. I say hauler. Some teams have haulers. Others have a truck with a trailer behind it. This is not your typical, NASCAR-style series. It's a little bit on the conservative on cost, but still, we're having a lot of fun.
Well, absolutely. Terry, thank you so much for your call, and always love to hear from Daytona Beach and the International Speedway. Appreciate you, man. And, folks, it just doesn't get any better than that. When I come back, we'll take more of your calls. Don't touch your dial. Folks, we recently worked on an 03 Buick Park Avenue with a 3.8 engine. This vehicle had been a workhorse with about 190,000 miles and counting. That said, fuel economy had slipped from 24 mpg highway all the way to 19. On cold startup, the check engine light started flashing in addition to rough idling. Engine fuel trims pointed toward carbon issues. A quick scan revealed random misfire code P0300. The codes were cleared, and after a visual inspection of the ignition system and a fuel filter change, we added a can of Berryman B12 Chem Tool to a fresh tank of fuel. After a 400-mile round trip and a second can of Berryman B12 Chem Tool, fuel economy went right back to 24 mpg and idle quality was restored. Many times, complex running issues are traced to carbon issues on today's vehicles. Fuel system maintenance today starts with simple tank additives as the first step in cleaning carbon from your engine. The next time your vehicle is sluggish or experiencing poor fuel economy, try Berryman B12 Chem Tool. Learn more at berrymanproducts.com. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Availability of E15 as a choice at the pump not only serves the American consumer and American economy, but also benefits the engines of today's EPA E15 approved vehicles as an oxygenant, octane booster, and delivery mechanism of a higher density fuel charge, which allows more torque. After 6 million miles of testing by the Department of Energy, the EPA approved in January 2011 E15 for light duty vehicles. That's cars, trucks, and SUVs model year 2001 and later. The first gas station offering drivers an E15 alternative, and at $1.15 per gallon, opened its pumps to consumers in Lawrence, Kansas in July 2012. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association. Drive to ethanolrfa.org.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Telephone tip.
From Geico Auto Insurance. When calling Geico to switch your car insurance, you will not need acetaminophen, naproxen, indomethacin, ibuprofen, a cold compress, an on-call acupuncturist, or any other pain remedy. In 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more. If it were any more painless, you could do it in your sleep, which is theoretically possible since we offer complete 24-hour service. Call 1-800-947-AUTO, 1-800-947-AUTO. Geico Direct, the sensible alternative.
When you purchase the latest TV, tablet, or smartphone, don't forget to do the right thing with your old ones. Recycle them. The Consumer Technology Association and its members are making recycling your old devices as easy as buying new ones. Just go to greenergadgets.org, type in your zip code, and you'll instantly find the recycling location closest to your home. You'll also find recycling tips, like asking the store where you buy your new TV if they'll haul away your old one. Don't let your old tech tools clog your local landfill. Just visit greenergadgets.org.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Every Saturday, 10 till noon Eastern Time, just you, me, and our great telephone connection. Also, you can go to watchbobbylive.com for our Google, YouTube channel. And you can follow me, please, on facebook.com/Bobby Likis. That's Likis. I won't begin to tell you how many people have misspelled that name, but it's Likis. You can go to twitter.com as well, and Pinterest. And one of the neatest things that my team does, and I won't take credit for this, well, maybe the service side, I'll give that service team credit, is we have what's called reality automotive repair. What does that mean? It means that we take photos when our patients are on the operating table, i.e. our cars are on the operating table, of the broken pieces and how we go about repairing those pieces, and then we post those on Pinterest. So you can go to pinterest.com/Bobby Likis and look for our In the Shop board. That's In the Shop board, and you'll find some very interesting pictures about timing belts and water pumps and fan relays and air conditioner repairs, and the list goes on. So let's go to Tom. Tom, you've waited quite a bit of time. I thank you for your patience. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Good morning.
Good morning, Bobby. Thank you very much for taking my call.
You're more than welcome.
I have a 1997 GMC pickup truck.
Mm-hmm.
Small, I think it's a Sonoma.
Okay.
It has 150,000 miles on it, and the ignition is on the steering wheel.
Right.
And occasionally it gets stuck. The key gets stuck, and I cannot remove it. I've had like 4 different cylinders replaced, and it still gets stuck.
Well, if we could back up 4 cylinders, my advice would be to replace the cylinders, but you took my thunder because you've already done that. I guess my question would be, does it have the very distinct detent? And a detent, you can turn it to the left and it has that accessory position. You can turn it off, and that's where you pull the key out or push the key in. And you can turn it to the on position, and then there's the cranking position, which is spring loaded. Can you say positively that each one of those areas is very distinct, and if you put the key like in the crank mode, you go to the start mode, and then you turn the key loose, it will spring back. Does it appear to be free and easy to work in all those positions?
Appears to be. It appears to be, but then every 5th time I use it,
mm-hmm.
it'll stick, and I can't pull it out. Of course, the battery runs down because it doesn't allow that key to come out.
Well,
and I've had mechanics look at it, and they don't have a clue.
Well, let me say this. That ignition key, because Miss Jan put here, can't get key out of ignition. You know that the key goes into a cylinder, as you know, and the ignition is not where the key is. It's down on the steering column. So there's a linkage that connects the ignition switch to the remote tumbler. It's sort of like when you open your front car door and you grab the remote door handle on the side of the door panel and you pull it. That really just has a rod that goes back to the door latch. So your ignition key cylinder is connected to the ignition switch by a remote rod. So what I'm saying to you is you haven't had the right person to take that steering column apart and repair or replace the linkage that is connected to the ignition switch. It is possible, and I don't think so. I don't think this is the problem, but it's possible that you have an ignition switch electrical part that is defective internally, because you could replace all of the ignition tumbler mechanical devices that you could, and you still wouldn't affect the condition of the switch itself, because that's 2 different animals or 2 different components. Does that make sense? You understand what I'm saying?
I believe I understand what you're saying, but can that be bypassed? Can there be a bypass switch that would bypass all that?
No,
so
sir.
I wouldn't continue?
No, sir, because of safety involved, and for a lot of reasons, and also because that's a 97 model automobile, and the ignition switch is the sole connection that you have to all of those hidden modules, and you don't want to go there. Now, I'm not saying you don't want to go there. You don't want to pay anyone to do that, because now you're opening a can of worms that you might get past this particular part, and then you would forever open up a can of worms to other modules on the car that are just waiting for the go-ahead signal from the ignition switch itself. So whatever it takes, and I'll share this with you in closing, Tom. On some cars, we have had to replace the steering column assembly to repair certain broken pieces and or parts. A PT Cruiser had this same issue until finally a company, Dorman, a company that really is on board with a lot of aftermarket parts these days. And this is a plug for them, because in our shop we're seeing more and more Dorman products that allow us to fix problems that were inherent and are numerously in the breakdown position in the aftermarket, and that saves us money, it saves our customers money. And to that end, the PT Cruiser, which comes to my mind because there's a little aluminum, I guess you'd call it aluminum, it's or pot metal. Yeah, you know what pot metal is, right?
Yes.
Well, pot metal, there's a pot metal pin of sorts on a PT Cruiser that breaks ignition, and the repair is to replace a $1,000 steering column, and Dorman came out with a $200 fix. And I've saved, not the first person, because, they didn't have that product, but I've saved a lot of people a lot of money. So, folks, if you've got a PT Cruiser and you got an ignition switch problem, you make sure that your shop knows about the Dorman product. And, Tom, there may be a Dorman product for your particular problem as well, but you cannot bypass it. It has to be fixed correctly because of safety and because of all the aforementioned. Sorry for the bad news, but ultimately, you've got to have the right person working on that, and that's going to be your to-do. Let me give you a website to go to, Tom. You ready?
Yes.
asashop.org, and asashop.org would be a shop that would be ASE trained technicians that you could find in your local hometown. Good luck. Thank you so much for calling. Now we're going to go from Tom to Joe, and Joe is calling from New York. Joe, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Thank you for holding, sir.
Hi, well, thanks. I've got inherent problem in my 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I had a 2002 that did the same thing. Once it tries to ship into cruise control at high speed. I mean, it is violent. I mean, I don't know if you were any of your listeners. I'm sure they had this problem. Is there anything I can do about that?
Well, you have to give me some more information. I mean, you're telling me. Oh, wait a minute. Let me understand here. No, you have to tell me again. Let's say we're cruising down the road at 70 miles an hour. We're on the interstate, 70 miles an hour, and you set your cruise.
Yes.
And you let off the accelerator.
Yep, it's in cruise. Yep.
Okay. What happens?
Well, especially when you're going up well, that's when it happens. When it slows down and going up a hill, it'll kick in. I mean, it's like when it kicks in, it's like a big jerk, it's violent.
I got it.
It's not smooth. I don't know.
Okay, so here's what I understand. Here's what I think is happening. I think that the cruise control is lazy, and or the engine is a bit lazy. And whenever the cruise starts to apply the accelerator to maintain the speed up the hill, it doesn't maintain the speed, and then finally the cruise control has to depress the accelerator so far that the transmission downshifts into another gear. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, downshifts. Yeah,
okay.
When it downshift,
yeah. Okay.
It's violent. I mean, like.
Well, hey, why didn't you say so?
Okay, I'm not a man of words.
No, I know. I'm pulling your leg. Hey, you're from New York. I can pull your leg as much as I like. So, Joe, here's what I believe. I believe you have one of two conditions: a lazy cruise control, and I really don't think that's the problem. I think you may have an engine performance problem. And I think that the engine is not responding to the initial slight increase in throttle position pressure from the cruise control. And so the cruise says, oh, you're not responding. Let me give you a little more. And then the cruise, and there's still no. So you should be able to tell me now, and think about this before you answer. You're going 70. We're cruising up a hill. We start to lose 68, 65. We're down to 64 miles an hour, and yet the cruise hasn't really kicked in. All of a sudden, bam, it kicks in. That's what we're talking about here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, actually, when it'll kick in like a smaller gear. I mean, not as violent, and then it got to kick in again. It just.
Well, then that tells me that you've got a performance problem. I don't think. How's the mileage in the vehicle as compared to historics?
Pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same. Well, how's the power? How's the power of the vehicle?
Good. That's good. Actually, I had the same problem when I bought a new 2002, which I totaled, and it did the same thing. When I got 2004, I bought a 2004 after that, did the exact same thing. I thought it was inherent with that particular
No, it's
vehicle.
not. Cruise controls work really well. It's an 04 model car. It's not like it's a 1904, a 1974 or 84. So here's what I suggest. Just because you've got two vehicles of two different years but same make that have inherently the same problem.
Yes.
Here's my advice to you, and I'm glad you called me today. I want you. Do you have a local shop that you frequent in New York?
I try to do my own stuff.
Well, that may be your problem.
You dirty dog.
All right, here's what I'm going to suggest that you do. I suggest that you find a local shop. I suggest that you talk to the service director there and ask someone to ride with you, a technician, not someone, a technician, and share what your car is doing that you don't like, because you can make this car do it. Even if you have to say, let me buy 15 minutes of your technician's time. A shop will do that. In fact, it's Joe. This is a great way. In other words, you got to know when to hold them, when to fold them. There are some things you can't do, and some things you can do. And knowing the difference is a good way to call me. Find you a shop, take them for a ride, let them experience what your car is doing, and then you'll have a relationship builder from there. That's my best advice to you. And folks, my advice to you is don't touch the dial. And now to the Car Clinic inbox. Mike writes, Bobby, driving in Seattle's rainy weather, I've lost traction in my car enough times to scare me. What tires should I consider when it's time to replace mine? Mike, if you're losing traction, now may be the time to replace your tires. A terrific choice is General Tire's Ultimax RT43 with its peak anti-slip design technology, which increases the number of biting edges for traction on slippery roads. And you won't have to guess or measure tread depth when it's time to replace these tires. The Ultimax RT43 features an integrated replacement tire monitor, which clearly reads, replace when a tire change is needed. And one more cool feature of the Ultimax RT43, Early Warning Visual Alignment Indicator, which extends tire life by visually identifying vehicle misalignment. For more information about the Ultimax RT43, go to GeneralTire.com. That's GeneralTire.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
More than 1 million wild animals are killed each year illegally. Poaching is a major threat to our country's wildlife. I'm Tom Barry. I'm an actor with a desire to preserve living space for wildlife. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust does just that. Works with private landowners to protect wildlife, to preserve natural habitats. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust, call 800-729-SAVE. That's 800-729-SAVE, or visit wildlifelandtrust.org. Thank you.
Did you know 26 million Americans have kidney disease and most don't know it?
The day I was diagnosed, I didn't know what to do. I called the National Kidney Foundation, and the young lady who answered stayed on the phone with me and walked me through step by step. She too was surviving kidney disease, and she showed me there could be life after kidney disease.
Visit the National Kidney Foundation at kidney.org. Now you know.
We're a land of cynics. We don't believe anything anymore. You know why? Because we've been told we've won $1 million, that it's new and improved, that it slices and dices, that our favorite singer is still alive, that we'll be prosecuted if we cut off the tags, and of course that everything is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So when we hear the words customer service, we don't believe it. Travelocity isn't surprised if you're a little skeptical when they say they have excellent customer service, and that there's actually a pleasant face behind this website, a living, breathing person with a supercharged computer full of answers. Someone who's willing to help when you get lost, and most of all, someone that will actually pick up the phone when you call with a question or a concern. Customer service is just another example of how Travelocity puts you in control of travel. Chances are you'll never have to use it, but it's good to know it'll be there if you need it. Travelocity.com. Go virtually anywhere.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. I have some information I want to share with you, so now's a good time for you to get in. I want to share with you information about the Environmental Protection Agency. You know, you've all heard about the Volkswagen, and folks, just for your information. In the meantime, before I get started on my reports that I want to share with you, Miss Jan will take your calls at 888 Car Clinic. Now is the perfect time to get in. 888-227-2546. That's 888-227-2546. And excited to be here. Some 26th year. This is our 26th anniversary, and we are celebrating it because this is 2017. And I hope that this year is going to be a fantastic year for you. 888-227-2546. So as I was saying, Volkswagen pled guilty, and they're going to pay $4.3 billion to settle the diesel scandal criminal charges. And that's an updated. But I want to share this with you because you'll hear about this from someone else, and you may be concerned that it includes your car. The EPA has accused Fiat Chrysler automobiles of failing to disclose engine management software for 2014, 15, and 16 Ram 1500s and Jeep Grand Cherokees that have the 3.0-liter turbo diesel engine that's marked as an eco diesel. And the notice of violation affects approximately 104,000 vehicles. And folks, the California Air Resources Board, the CARB, has also released a notice of violation. So for now, and you hear it from Bobby Likis, the EPA is putting FCA, that's Fiat Chrysler, on notice, and an investigation continues in conjunction with the California Air Resources Board. The information for you to know is if you own one of these vehicles, the EPA says no immediate action is required. They're safe and they're legal to drive. So when you hear about this and your neighbor says, oh, you've got one of those Grand Jeep Cherokees, 14, 15, or 16, or a Ram 1500, just know you're okay. Stay tuned to Bobby Likis Car Clinic in the futures, and I will keep you updated and posted. Now, I have an update on traffic accidents and driverless cars and how that would save us billions of dollars. But before I go to that report, I want to take a call from Dan, who has a headlight issue, and invite others to call at 888-227-2546. Dan, rather than to have you hold, sir, I'm going to put you right on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, thank you.
Hey, yeah, thanks. I love your program, very informative, and I listen to it as much as I can. I have a general question.
Okay.
I want to know if you have any answers or any feedback from the industry bringing out the new cars, especially in the new trucks. The lighting, the bulbs they're putting in there, mainly these trucks have two headlights and then they have two fog lights. It's absolutely blinding on the road these days. At night, my wife complains about it. I have to look off to the side, so it's so distracting. Is there anything that regulates the intensity of the lights in these new vehicles coming out?
Yes, They're absolutely OEM standards, and they are mandated. They cannot be brighter than. Here is my, and I know where you are because many times on my route home, and it's always dark this time of the year when I'm going home, I'll be approached by lights that are blinding me as well. And here's what I found. For the most part, it's a truck, and some of those vehicles have larger tires and wheels and or have the body that's been raised and elevated. So it is an owner issue problem, not an OEM, because the OEMs must abide by strict rules and regulations. Now, to that end, Dan, my car has very bright headlights, but if you'll pull any new car or truck up to your garage door at night on a flat surface, you turn your headlights on and back off 25 feet, which is the appropriate length of shadow or length of walking distance, 25 feet from the door, especially if you have a level driveway. So, and mine, if I back up 25 feet, mine starts to go downhill. So it's very important that you have your car on a level and be 25 feet from your door or from some wall at night. You will see that the light is not a 360-degree light. It has, like Batman, it has the upper part of the light that is shielded or cut off by diffusers within the light itself. And if you walk up to and you can do this in the daytime, if you walk up to a new car, or if you happen to be at the mall and look at a new car, now I'm not talking about the LED lights, that's the latest and greatest that's coming out, but if you look at the very specific lighting that you're talking about, you will see there are shields that cover and diffuse and direct the light specifically. So while I hear you, it is not a problem with the cars, it's a problem with the owners of those cars, and it's also possible that those lights are out of adjustment. But from my standpoint, and I agree with you from your viewpoint, it's more of an out of adjustment or jacked up vehicle or oversized tire vehicle. And a lot of people that put oversized tires don't understand that when you elevate something, the view gets better, and so the lights get worse for the oncoming drivers. So I usually blink my lights. I'm sure you've tried that, of course.
It doesn't work because it's not the bright issue. They haven't got their lights on bright. So
but
that's what I thought. I thought they had them on bright, so I would flick my lights at them, and it didn't change a damn bit.
Yeah, I understand. I understand what you're saying, but it's not an issue of lumens at all. It's an issue of adjustment, and you can have the brightest light in the world, just like a laser that you would never point at your face or at your eye. But as long as you don't have the laser pointed into your eye, you're seeing a laser, but you're not seeing the light from the laser. It's an adjustment. It can be a white bright. Look at a star. Now, that's a little different. That's not a good analogy. But I hear what you're saying, but it's not an industry problem. It's an individual problem. But I'll tell you what could be. It could be that maybe the law enforcement might look more into oncoming brighter headlights than they do. That requires someone to in the enforcement to enforce that, to turn around and check the lights for that car. I think that would be the answer, but I don't have an answer otherwise, because from a rules standpoint and an OEM standpoint, there are no lights that are outlawed that you're seeing on the road that are made to blind you. That is an individual problem per automobile.
Yeah. Well, I'm just wondering if do you think the manufacturers are aware of how dangerous it is? Or is it an issue that they don't care about?
Sure they do. No, absolutely. You don't, I mean, let's face it, given the fact, and I just talked about VW, paying $4 billion for emissions, and the fact that EPA is now investigating Fiat Chrysler, there's no way that a manufacturer is going to produce a vehicle with brighter headlights, because that's an invitation for another series of lawsuits or losses of money or losses. So the answer to your question is it's an individual. I've already answered it, and I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I understand. Okay,
Okay,
well,
my
I just
friend.
think that what if these lights are within the standards of the industry? It's too much. It's just too much. It's going to be, people are going to be having accidents at night. So,
yeah, well, I have to agree. I have to agree. It's there are limits. So maybe the pendulum will swing back the other way, or maybe those particular vehicles. You know what I would do, just to close the conversation, but to bring some closure proper to it. And I'm a fixer, and I'm not gonna cut you off just because I don't know the answer. That's not my style. I think what you should do the next time that happens is to make an effort to turn around and find out what that vehicle, what the make and model of that vehicle, and then you and I and our listening audience on Car Clinic here can better know which products are brighter than other products, other makes. Right. That's inconvenient to you, but hey, this is your gig. This is what you're upset about, and I'm agree with you. So the next time that happens, in a safe way, find a way to find out what that car had on its headlights, and you can do that in a neighborhood. You can't do it on the highway, of course. I mean, that's not feasible. It's not, but you can do it certainly in a neighborhood, and that happens to me, and I've almost done that myself, and that happens when somebody's behind you as well. So anyway, thanks for your call. I hope that helps you. Okay. Let me know the make, model of the particular vehicle that you get, and we'll compare to what it's advertised and what other vehicles like same or not.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Thanks a lot for your time. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you, Dan, and to you. Appreciate your kind words.
All right, bye.
You know, folks, that's there aren't answers. I don't profess to have the answer to it. I understand where he's coming from. We all see that from time to time. But I will share this with you. I have promoted brighter, lighter, wider headlights. It's the blue lights that really I don't like. Never did like those blue lights, and that era is just about gone now. But it's the wider and brighter the light, the better you can see. And there are some lights, I mentioned Sylvania for one, that I put in my car. They're Ultra Star, Silver Star Ultras. I remember that brand now because I've got those in my Viper and I've got those in my Smart car, because both of those cars, as compared to my newer 13 car, one of them's an 01, one of them's an 08, both of those cars' headlights, as compared to my 13 car, are so poorly lit that at nighttime when you drive the car, you say, well, this doesn't feel right. Something's wrong here. Well, yeah, that's because I'm accustomed to the 13 car, which has wider, brighter lights. So I know there's a limit, but I also know that it's adjustments and shields in all vehicles and all lights. Okay, 888 Car Clinic, if you've got any comments or any knowledge of that particular information, feel free to give us a call. And just remember, from 10 till noon Eastern Time, every Saturday morning Eastern Time, we're here to answer your car questions and also to help you sort of get from one little lily pad to the next with regard to automotive service, automotive repair. When do you know when to sell a car, or at least when to trade it? I mean, if your car's in the shop more than it's in my garage, more than it's in your garage, then you know there's a problem there. Now, I don't mean that you're going to take your car to a shop and get it fixed in one day and get it out. That's just not the way it works these days. But if you get your car and you spend X amount of money on your car and it's all well and good, and 6 months later you've got another problem, or 6 weeks later you've got another problem, you need to have a conversation with your service provider and ask them for their help, because they know your car. They know this is provided that you're not like the gentleman from New York and you try to do all your own work. You've got to have a trusting repair shop, someone you trust to do the work on your automobile, and then have a conversation and say, hey, my car I'm spending a lot of money. Is it time I think about a new car? This is a common practice that we practice in our service shop every week. If we see a car that's in our shop too much, we will call a conference with the owner and say, okay, let's talk about this. Let's reset the expectations. Let's look at the goals. Let's look at what you spent on this car over the past year and what you're currently spending and what the car's current condition. And folks, we created an annual inspection that no other shop has like we've set ours out. It's called an ANI. It's an annual inspection, and I personally created that form, and my team helped me to update it as need be so that we can provide the service for our Car Clinic Service pre-repair customers, the current condition of their car, so they have the information they need. Why? To make more intelligent automotive service decisions. And sometimes you just got to bite a bigger bullet and trade the car off. Okay, quick, here we go. This is a very interesting, I don't know if it's interesting or realistic. Interesting, yes. Realistic, I'm not so sure. Traffic accidents cost world economies billions each year, but with the development of autonomous driving technologies, these costs could be reduced dramatically. And here's just a little factoid for you. The U.S. topped the list of 73 countries where more than $340 billion is lost to traffic accidents every year. The largest amount of gross domestic product loss in the world. Right here in the U.S. If all vehicles in the U.S. were driverless, and this is where it's not realistic, but if all vehicles in the U.S. were driverless, the amount of GTD, gross domestic product loss, could be substantially reduced. In particular, GDP loss to traffic accidents could be cut by over $306 billion a year, making the roads considerably safer. Now, this research has two facets to it, and this is according to the head of GPS, which is the firm that provided this story. The research has two facets. On the one hand, there's the amount of money which we could spend on accidents each year, which is in itself interesting. And then you realize how many of these accidents could be avoided with new driverless technologies. Governments will never spend on investing in things like this unless there is concrete evidence. But here we've proved that there's a strong economic reason to invest in driverless technology as well as the obvious improvement to public safety. Now, is that interesting? Yes. Is it realistic? Well, not at 100% of driverless cars. But understand this, and here's the closer for this week's program. If you're going to Vegas, you can actually go between cities, and you can look in Vegas for the around downtown shuttle that's all electric today. Next week, like us, you'll love us. Tune back in. I won't run out of time, I promise. Like us, you'll love us. Bobby Likis Car Clinic, Saturdays, 10 to noon Eastern Time.
Written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
This Tire Maintenance Minute is brought to you by General Tire and the Ultimax RT43. Featuring replacement tire technology, the Ultimax RT43 will actually let you know if it's worn or needs to be replaced. Today's vehicles run on the sum of their parts to make themselves whole. Your tires deliver key information for things like traction control, anti-lock brakes, and crash avoidance systems. Tires are a critical component for all-wheel drive vehicles, making sure the all-wheel drive system works properly to keep you safe. Changing just 2 tires instead of 4 can compromise a number of things, including all-wheel drive operation, and in some vehicles even cause damage and wear to the all-wheel drive components. If you do replace just 2, make sure to put them on the rear of the vehicle. Also, always check tread depth and condition, and make sure you rotate your tires at required intervals. General Tire's Ultimax RT43 actually extends the life of the tire by visually identifying vehicle misalignment. Talk about a smarter tire. Visit GeneralTire.com for more details.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
P. Ricey Outfitters, I'm Tina. How can I help you?
I'd like to place an order.
Great. Which item?
The cotton roll neck sweater, large.
Okay. Periwinkle, Loden, or caramel?
The caramel, please.
The what?
I'd like it in caramel.
Oh, the caramel?
Yeah, that's what I said, Tina.
Actually, you said caramel when it's pronounced caramel.
Can't we just call it yellow?
No.
Everyone knows the best part of a Milky Way. They just don't know how to say it. After all, it's our caramel.
It's caramel.
Ugh, that makes a Milky Way great.
You start my morning, you stir in my soul, you warm my heart, make me feel whole. Your aroma calls me, starts my morning, happy morning. Your name is Fortress Mountain